Okay, today we're going to start a Golang project and run it in a VSCode Dev Container. That's about the quickest. I mean, it's the way I prefer to develop anyway. I don't usually use my base system at all. Well, that's untrue, but for the most part, I use the Dev Containers. Let's start up VSCode. And in case you're not familiar, a dev container is a Docker container, but there's a spec to set up like a JSON file. You'll see all that in a second. I remember I selected this look. Let's see what that's like. All right. You have Windows subsystem for Linux WS installed on your system. Do you want to install the recommended WSL extension from Microsoft for it? Install. So yeah, the extension's over here. If you were to search for WSL, it would have been there, but as you can see, it detected we're running WSL and prompted us, so that's great. Open any folder or repository inside a Docker container and take advantage of it. Okay, we'll install the dev containers. There, we got the extensions we need. Now, we don't have a folder or anything. Let's create one. But I'm going to shut it down and do this on the command line. I've never had much luck trying to do it through the editor. It just seemed easier to do it this way. So I'm in the Ubuntu terminal. This is WSL. So there's my development directory. I'm in my home directory. If you do it pwd, it's home Jones, pwd. So we're going into development. That's where I usually store my stuff. So we're going to make my first go. I made the directory my first go. I just want to see what happened when we do it right in the dev container. So if we do a code period being the current directory, as you can see, it's installing a VSCode server for Linux. And we are now in WSL Ubuntu VSCode. Trust the authors of all files in the parent folder development. I'm going to click that and say yes, trust. Now, where were we? From here, we're in a directory, got no files. I'm going to press F1, which is the same as Control-Shift-P. And I guess it's the same as going to View, Command Palette. Dev container. We want add dev container configuration files right there. I'm going to click that. There's a whole list of different stacks we can choose from, but we're looking for Go. Yeah, that top one, we're going to use that one, but as you can see, there's also a Go with a Postgres container running alongside it. Whatever these are. That's not Go, it's just Go and Mongo down there. But anyway, let's choose this top one. We're going to use the default 1.22 Bookworm. Bookworm is the latest release of Debian, I believe. Features are cool. You can add some, like, as you can see right here, 1Password CLI. I like to use the GitHub CLI. I may as well just demonstrate it here. So I'm selecting the GitHub CLI feature. I'm going to hit OK. You could have just as easily hit nothing on that and hit OK. I'm going to keep the defaults on my feature. And there we go. We have two files. A dependabot. This is for when you host your code at GitHub. Dependabot will periodically look, well, it looks like weekly. It'll have a look at your dependencies and see if there's any updates that can be applied, and it will create a pull request for you. Seems like a okay system so far. Not that's a whole nother topic. Let's check out this devcontainer.json file that it created inside a .devcontainer folder. So as you can see, .devcontainer.github. That's all we got so far. Pretty straightforward. Name of your container, it's going to be Go. And we're going to say Go first. Image. So this is a Docker image. And if we search it, Docker Hub. So that's where a lot of your images will come from. This being no exception, reject all. Scram. So these are a lot of different, or this is the account for many different dev containers. There's a base, as you can see, Alpine, Debian, Ubuntu, depends what you're doing. There's .NET, CPP, Jekyll, so on and so forth. What were we looking for? Go. They don't want to show us, but anyway, if we were to find that and have a look at, say, the details, look at, oh, this one's archived, read only now, the Docker files and whatnot. Here's Go. Docker file. It's running from Bullseye directly, so it's just building on top of a Debian release, or maybe not. Sorry, that's a variant, which gets appended right there, and you can change it from the command line when you're building or whatever environment. Okay, I lied. So it's running from this node version none, blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to keep digging around, but basically you can totally go look up the source for whatever you're running here. And it's good to know, because sometimes you got to extend this. You can create a Docker file of your own, and it would say like, you can go Docker file here. Whoops. Rename. Let's say, go ahead and install that extension there. Oh, we're still in WSL2. We're good. Okay, so here you can go from this guy, and that'd be the same deal. Nothing too exciting, but it's really, it's doing the same thing. That's all I'm trying to point out. Delete that Docker file. So we have our feature, and that's it. Well, we can get rid of this, clean it up. I'll put this comment up here. But all right, so we have forward ports. If you're hosting a server inside here that you want to connect to from your host machine or from anywhere else, you can forward the port here. Post create command. So after it creates a this dev container, it will run whatever you have in here. So let's go ahead and let it run Go version. Customizations. I think these are, I think they're specific to VSCode. I usually just let it all do it automatically. And again, lastly, remote user. It's going to be running as a VSCode, I believe. The username will be VSCode. It won't be privileged. It'll have sudo, but it's a regular user. And yeah, if you wanted to run it as any other, you can do it right here. You can change it to, it's often node. Could be Jimmy, whatever. We're just going to keep this and go ahead. Sometimes it'll pop up here and say, there we go, reopen in container. So it popped up in a notification, and when it detected the dev container file, you can say don't show again, but I often use this. Alternatively, you can go back to the command palette and rebuild dev containers, rebuild and reopen in container. Let's see what happens. Starting Docker show log. Engine running. All right, connecting to dev container, show log. I just saw feature go by, so it's processing. Beautiful. And if we look down here in the output, running the post create command from devcontainer.json, start to running container, bin-sh-c go version, go 1.22.5. Beautiful. So let's open a new terminal. And yes, our user is VSCode. Who am I? We can see we're in workspace. It's my first go. We're in a bash prompt. Still have no files except those hidden directories, dev container and GitHub. Let's go ahead and initialize a repository. So we have a clean slate. So we want go init help, go help init, go help, grep init, not in there. I thought it was going to give us a nice message, go mod init. Yes. So we're I don't even know if it's necessary to speak about Go modules. They've been around for so long, and I can't imagine not using them at this point. So yes, you're going to see modules and old documentation about modules, but yeah, think of packages, modules, same difference, I guess. Okay, so really we're creating a module. We're initializing a module, and if this is gonna be something public, you can host it at like github.com. That's my user, and then what is this? My first go. But we're gonna keep it non-public. I'll rethink that later, but for now we're gonna go with Jones Russell / my first go, and it created us a go.mod file. Yeah. Locked us to 1.225 as being the minimum supported version. Let's get rid of the 0.5 and just say any version. 1.22 is cool. The typical, I think, Go itself, or the Go devs, they support the first or the last version released and the version before that. So the latest version is 1.22, which is of course they support, but they also support 1.21. So it's a good habit, I guess, to follow the best practices, the recommended defaults, whatever. Do as they do. Makes everything more consistent. So yeah, we're gonna kick it down to 1.21, being the minimum version for our my first go. And this is all we need in go.mod. We can create ourselves a main.go. And in here, we'll say package main. Import FMT. Oh. Oops. Been using a laptop with control key in the silliest spot. Oh, it linted for us and said you're not using FMT, so we're not going to let you keep it in there. So let's use it down here in our func main. It should work, I think. FMT dot println. Hello. Yes, we're just doing anything here. World. What's it saying? Problems. As possible. Oh, I use print LF. I mean LN, which is like print with the new line. All right, let's just go with hello world. But yeah, the linters are great. So that's like the simplest Go program we can get, I guess. Let's try running it. Go run main.go. Hello world. There we go. So we got our first Golang program. running in our first dev container in VS Code in WSL2 in Windows 11. All right. I hope you find that informative. If you have any questions, comments, whatever, reach out to me wherever you can find me. But comments are a good spot to check. Look for me on Twitter. All my links and stuff should be around. I hope to hear from you. Peace out.